Good afternoon. I'm Edward Nelson Fell. After my wife Ann and I purchased the land in 1910 that Fellsmere is now situated upon, I incorporated the Fellsmere Farms Company on May 23, 1910. The company built a railroad from Sebastian to Fellsmere that was completed by September 1910. The town started rapidly developing in early 1911. As more and more families came to settle in Fellsmere, they brought many children with them such that a school was soon needed to educate them. The first school classes in Fellsmere for the 1911-1912 school year were held in a store in a wooden building on the west side of Broadway north of New York Avenue. Mrs. Jessie Hunter was the first teacher. In 1912, the Fellsmere Farms Company built a wooden school building on the east side of Broadway north of the First Methodist Episcopal Church, which is now the Fellsmere Historical Church. Mrs. Jessie Hunter and Miss Emma Hall were the teachers. The building was enlarged for the 1913-1914 term with Mrs. Ina C. Elder as principal and Miss Hall, Miss Hunter, and Miss Vester as teachers. The first classes for African American children were opened in the fall of 1913 with B.F. James as the teacher. Classes were held in an African American church northeast of Fellsmere until the school building was built. Schools were segregated until the 1960s after the federal civil rights legislation was passed in 1964. The Fellsmere Public School at 22 South Orange Street was the first masonry school building built in Indian River County. The two-story yellow brick building behind me was designed by renowned architect Frederick H. Trimble to hold classes for grades 1 through 12. It is the largest brick building in Fellsmere and the only building that has a raised basement. Although Trimble donated the plans for the Fellsmere Public School free of charge to the St. Lucie County School Board in 1915, he was hired by the board at $100 per month to oversee its construction. Frederick Trimble initially served as a Methodist missionary in Fuzhou, China. Due to his wife's illness, the couple returned to the United States and embarked on his architectural career here in Fellsmere, Florida in 1915. He not only designed the Fellsmere Public School, the first masonry school structure in Indian River County, but many of the Fellsmere Railroad buildings and others in Fellsmere. He designed several structures in Vero Beach, Florida, such as the Florida Theater and the Citrus Bank that still exists today. Local contractor Arthur F. Sanders constructed the school during 1915 to 1916. His first order of construction was to build a short line railroad from the Fellsmere Railroad north of town down the center of Cypress Street. He did this in order to deliver the building materials since Fellsmere only had dirt roads. After the short line railroad was completed in September 1915, Sanders' crew began work on the school's foundation. It was completed in November, and the basement was completed a month later. On January 31st, 1916, the school's cornerstone was laid under the direction of Fellsmere's Grand Masonic Lodge. Fellsmere had a huge celebration that day, and practically everyone in town attended it. Inside the cornerstone, a special memorial box was inserted. It contained the history and charter of Fellsmere, data on the Fellsmere School, the names and members of the school board and every organization in Fellsmere, coins and newspapers of the day, and more. To this day, the memorial box has never been extracted from the cornerstone. The Fellsmere Public School was completed by September 1916 at a cost of $40,000. It opened its doors to 136 students on October 2, 1916. Principal Anderson A. Price and 5 teachers provided instruction for grades 1 through 12. The school remained active from grades 1 through 12 until 1964, when it became solely an elementary school. When the Fellsmere Elementary School was opened in 1982, the school was used as Fellsmere City Hall. It has hosted the world's famous Frog Leg Festival every January since 1992. The Fellsmere School is the oldest public school building in Indian River County, and on November 22, 1996, it was placed on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. The old school was vacant for several years in the 1990s and early 2000s. In fact, the Fellsmere City Council was considering demolishing the old building since it had badly deteriorated over several decades. The town's resident photographer, Clarence F. Corky Corka, spearheaded efforts for several years to restore the old school by raising funds and obtaining grants. Consequently, the 208-seat auditorium on the second floor was named the Clarence F. Corky Corka Center for the Performing Arts on December 8, 2011. In 2010, the City of Fellsmere secured a loan and restored the school for use as City Hall, Government Center, and Boys and Girls Club at a cost of over $3 million. On October 19, 2010, the Fellsmere Public School building was once again reopened to the public. The Boys and Girls Club moved out of the Fellsmere Public School building into a building of their own behind the school in November 2019. The City of Fellsmere encourages you to visit this historic building. There is a diorama in the lobby of the Fellsmere Road as it existed in the 1920s, a scale model of one of the colossal dredges that excavated the 4 major drainage canals, pen and ink drawings of Fellsmere founders and their biographies, and a 4-foot by 8-foot painting of the Fellsmere sugar mill and biography of the famous artist. The old Fellsmere Public School serves as a legacy to architect Trimble and contractor Sanders since it has withstood all the hurricanes, floods, and wrecking ball for almost a century. It is one of the main attractions that Fellsmere has to offer to anyone who's interested in the history of Fellsmere. If you'd like to know more about the history of the Fellsmere Public School, you can use your smartphone to read the QR code to access the City of Fellsmere website or use the city's website address as shown on the walking tour brochure.